Hello, welcome to episode 87 on the Lifestyle Coach podcast. As I rehearsed that there, I was thinking, welcome to the Warrior Chick Club podcast, and I'm like, nah, it's not that anymore. Can anybody get used to it? I think I said this in the last one as well. So a couple of weeks ago, I released an episode on what we call the basics, the things that you need in order to move, think and feel better and just generally live a happier and healthier life. If you haven't seen it, go back to episode 85 because I'm sure it's number 85, and either watch it on YouTube or tune into that on Spotify or whatever platform you use. Today I'm going to be talking about number 1 from that, which was about sleep. So in that episode I basically just give you like a brief outline of the things that we use inside the Warrior Chick Club and the Lifestyle Coach programs to help women 35 plus improve their lifestyle. I'm going to stick this water down because I'm going to end up dropping it. As always, loads of notes to go over so I don't forget anything that I want to cover. Alright, so let's just dive in. So any of this information I give today is for women 35 years old and above. Alright, it probably does relate to younger women and also men as well, but obviously women 35 plus are my target market. That is who I work with. All right, so according to the National Sleep Foundation, women 35 plus need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Right, I know that that's difficult if you've got kids, so you've got puppies, you've got dogs, you're a carer, you're a shift worker, but we're going to dive into little bits on each of that today. Although it is recommended by the National Sleep Foundation that you have 7 to 9 hours, this does vary from person to person. So we all have individual needs depending on like your activity output, any medical conditions, any stress factors like stress at home, stress in your work life. There's a whole heap of factors. Like I know myself that I function really well with 8 hours of sleep a night and I have endometriosis. Sometimes I do need to go for a little sleep during the day as well, but that's usually only if I've had around 6 hours of sleep, so kind of undersleeping, but we'll speak about that. So it's a good idea just to get to know yourself, get to know what it is that you require. Obviously everything that I give out is general advice, which should help you, but it's about figuring out whether you need 7, 8 or 9 hours sleep. Maybe you need a little bit more, maybe you need a little bit less. So general advice. So 7 to 9 hours isn't actually like just a general number. It's not just picked out of like thin air. The National Sleep Foundation has done millions of research on it, and basically it comes down to how our bodies and our brain works. So it goes on like sleep cycles. Right now a full sleep cycle is 90 minutes. So when we sleep, we want to have 4 to 6 of these full cycles. All right, so if you sleep for 7 to 9 hours, that allows you to have 4 to 6 of these full cycles. That's why things like, I've actually not spoke about it in here, like waking up with an alarm isn't necessarily good, because it could wake you up in the middle of a cycle, so you could go into your day feeling like shit basically. If you are someone who can wake up naturally, so most mornings I do get up naturally, it's just something that I've worked on over the years, and I know that I'm getting up and I'm ready to go, unless Lexi's had me up, like she's had me up this whole week. We're on Friday, so 6 nights, because this morning it was 4 o'clock in the morning because she's not been very well this week. But that's what happens, that's life, and that's the sort of things we're going to talk about here anyway. So sleep can literally, like lack of sleep can affect like your whole life. That's just what I want to speak about at the moment as well. All right, so I don't even know where to start with this, honestly. There's just so many things that it can affect. So hormonal changes being like the main one. So if you're someone who suffers from endometriosis, PCOS, maybe you're perimenopausal, maybe you have another hormonal condition, adenomyosis, there's a whole heap of things. Maybe it's just your PMS, but any lack of sleep, obviously chronic lack of sleep, so not just a night or two here or there, but long-term lack of sleep can affect these and make them conditions worse. All right, I just want to speak to you a little bit about that. So weight gain as well is a massive one with lack of sleep, and the reason for it is because it increases your cravings. So let's just chat briefly about your hunger hormone. So that's called ghrelin, right? And then you've got a full hormone called leptin. Now, when we regularly undersleep, so don't have enough sleep, your hunger hormone increases and your full hormone decreases. So your ghrelin goes up and your leptin hormone comes down, which means that you're going to be reaching for more carbohydrates, more sugar, more caffeine. And basically it makes it much harder to control your appetite, all right? In turn, off the back of this, poor sleep effects actually slow down your metabolism because insulin sensitivity is really high, which leads to you storing more fat around your midsection. Now, I already store quite a bit of fat around my midsection because of endometriosis, and I'm sure like a lot of you women watching this will be in a similar boat, not through endo, but maybe another condition, or maybe endo. So we want to like keep our insulin sensitivity quite like even. So what's the word I'm looking for? Not even. Level. We don't want it going up and down and up and down and up and down because that's just going to send our metabolism all over the place. And we don't want to store extra fat around my midsection when I've already got fat around my midsection because of my endometriosis. I already spoke about your hormonal imbalances. Another thing that actually lack of sleep can actually affect is your thyroid function. So if you have an overactive thyroid and an underactive thyroid, maybe you've never been tested for it, but maybe you're really overweight and you're struggling to lose weight, or maybe you're really underweight and you're struggling to put on any weight, that could very well be your thyroid function if you are someone who doesn't sleep for 7 to 9 hours on a consistent basis. And then I'm just going to list off a few other things that I've wrote down here. So you have a weaker immune system, which means that you might be unwell more often, you'll catch flus, you'll pick up everything that goes around. Heart disease is a massive one. If you're someone who undersleeps for years, aging, you will age much faster than the typical person that sleeps and gets 7 to 9 hours sleep regularly. Chronic fatigue, poor performance and recovery, reduced motivation. I mean, we all know what I think of motivation at this point. I always say motivation is a pile of crock, right? When I see people saying, no, I need some motivation, or they rely on motivation, nothing ever gets done, because if I only did things on the days I'd if I only did things on the days that I was motivated, it would only be like once a week. And I ain't lying, like most of the time I'm not motivated to go and train. Like I've trained upper body this morning, but I still need to go and do a cycle and a run, and I'm like double sessions in a day. But it's discipline, it's habit. That's what you need to build, not motivation. Lack of sleep also can cause more stress, anxiety, mood swings, right? That's a massive one. See the amount of women that I speak to and deal with that are snapping at their kids, they're getting moany with their partners, and they just feel like really irritable. Their brain fog is through the room, they can't focus on anything, and it's just leading to conflicts all over the shop with their families. Most of the times this comes down to lack of sleep, all right? The other thing that happens is that your libido will be very low, so your sex drive will be through the floor. Your partner might not be happy with that. That might then cause relationship issues. Like the list could go on. And the main thing for me is like it's actually reducing the quality of your life and making you more susceptible to like conditions like heart disease, cancers, all of these things that I have actually spoke about, all right? So things that can actually affect your sleep. So let's say that you are trying to get your 79 hours and you just can't get it, and you don't understand why, and you don't know, I'm going to bed and I just can't sleep and blah blah blah, right? So here's some things that can affect the quality of your sleep. Hormonal changes, it's always up there with everything, right? We've kind of covered that already. Intense workouts close to your bedtime. So let's say your bedtime is 10 p.m. I would put a cut-off on intense workouts, so not training any later than 8 p.m. Our latest session in the gym is 6:30 p.m, which means that everybody's finished by 7:30 p.m, and they've got a couple hours at least until they go to bed, and that is the latest session in our facility for that reason. I don't want anyone training at 9 p.m. When I first started out in this industry 19 years ago, I worked with clients 8, 9 at night. My last client was usually 9 o'clock at night, but I've learned better. And not only do I put that in place for my clients' health, right? But I also put it in place for my own health. I no longer want to be working at 10 o'clock at night because I know that I need to be in my bed for 9:30. My sleep is my priority, which we'll go on to. Stress, either from work, family life, or any other aspects of stress. Now, what you need to have in place for, if you are quite a stressed person, is you need to have something in place for stress management. I'm not going to dive into that today because there will be a separate episode on that coming up, so you can tune in and just keep your eyes peeled for that. Mental workload, mental overload as well can really affect your sleep. So let's say you go to bed and you're just lying there and you're thinking, you're thinking about things that you forgot to do in the day, things that you need to do the next day, going. That's going to lead you into, maybe you might still fall asleep, but your sleep's not going to be that great. The quality of your sleep's going to be pretty poor, if I'm honest. Nutrition, kind of the same as your training, right? So you want about 2 hours before you actually lay down and go to sleep. Now, sometimes, and I'll put my hands up, this is quite difficult for me because sometimes I can get my dinner and it's 8:30 at night. By the time I get up the road, get Lexi out for the toilet, make dinner, or sometimes my dad has made dinner, so that's a bit quicker, but it's usually between 8 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. that I eat. Now, I tend to go to bed like 9:30, 10, so sometimes I'm cutting it fine, but that's just part of my life, and I know that that probably does affect the quality of my sleep sometimes. I've done it for years. Sometimes I used to eat dinner at like 10 o'clock at night, and I don't have an option with the type of work that I do. But if you have an option, always have that cut off. So if you go to bed at 10 p.m, 8 p.m would be your cut off for food. All right. Hydration can also impact your sleep. So if you're dehydrated, I think I said that the wrong way around. Hydration as in lack of fluids, all right? So if you're not hydrated, so if you are dehydrated, getting myself mixed up today, then you might struggle to stay asleep because you're naturally thirsty. So having like a couple of electrolytes a day, that sort of thing's going to help you as well. Caffeine's the biggest factor in people not sleeping, believe it or not. Up there with like having kids as well. It takes about 6 to 8 hours for half of the caffeine to leave your body. So my cut off for caffeine is always 2 o'clock every day, because if I want to be in bed for 10 p.m, sleeping for 10:30, 11, then that gives me 8 hours for the last time that I had a coffee. And to be honest, I'm trying to make it a bit earlier. I'm trying to make it about 12. A lot of people say to me, oh, caffeine doesn't really affect me anymore. That's probably just what you think, right? But it will naturally disturb your sleep. And that's just like a fact. Whether you think that you can drink caffeine at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night and still get a good sleep, I guarantee if you cut it off about 6 to 8 hours before, you would notice that your sleep quality would be better. I'm not saying you're going to notice this straight away, right? But over time, consistency and over time is when you are going to notice it. Went over that. Okay, so let's chat a little bit about how to improve the quality of your sleep, right? Now, I understand not everybody's going to be able to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, right? Obviously, if you can, that's what you'd be aiming for. One of the top things I would suggest is having a wind down schedule. So when I finish work and I get home and I settle down, usually in my car when I pull up in the driveway, what I do is check my phone. Is there anything I need to reply to? Is there anything I need to do? No, there's not. So then my phone goes away when I get in. But I'll put my hands up and say sometimes, and more recently, I've been slipping into bad habits with using my phone a little bit later than I want to, and it is disturbing my sleep. So I have actually ordered something called Kitchen Safe. I don't know if anyone's heard it. You put your phone in there and you put a time on it for like how long I want my phone to go in there. So if I put it in at 8 o'clock at night, say 8:30 by the time I'm in for work and have my dinner at 8:30, I don't want it out for 12 hours, it's 8:30 the next day, and I cannot get it out unless I was to smash it up. I just would not get it out. If you're someone who struggles with boundaries with your phone, I would highly suggest that you get that, because it's epic. Even I used to keep my phone in another room, but now I'm finding it was just creeping back into my room. So wind down routine, right? So phone goes away, have dinner, get washed, do my skincare, because I love doing my face like every night and stuff like that as well. Then I usually either read, or recently I'm watching a programme. I watch like an episode of that, and then that's kind of like my wind down. There's a lot of people that say that you shouldn't be on screens right now. I'm going to speak about that. I do agree with it, but equally me watching an episode at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night doesn't affect my sleep. It's about finding out what affects you, what works for you, as I said at the start. The other thing that you want is you want a sleep schedule. Inconsistent sleep schedules are one of the leading factors in lack of sleep. So my sleep schedule is basically 10 p.m. until 6 a.m, right? Sometimes, like today, I didn't actually get out of bed properly until about 6:30, that's fine, but I was still waiting because I make sure that I'm in bed for 10 until 6. That's my sleep schedule window. Whether I sleep in that time or not is a different story, but I make sure that that's my sleep schedule, that's my sleep window, and that's the same every single night. Now, that's the same even at the weekends. I'm at an age now where I'm not out partying every weekend. Occasionally, like I was in Amsterdam last weekend for my birthday, that is going to happen. But always sticking to that sleep schedule and don't change it. Don't make it like 9 o'clock one night, 10 o'clock another night, 11 o'clock another night, midnight because it's the weekend, 1 o'clock because it's a Saturday. Try and stick to the same sleep schedule. That's going to benefit you massively. The other things that massively help me is keeping a window open so my room's a little bit cooler. A dark room, so I've got blackout curtains, and sometimes depending on where I am, so if I stay away in a hotel, I'll always take an eye mask because you never know if it's going to be dark, and I always take earplugs. If you are someone who, like I said earlier, your brain's going and going and going during the night as you're trying to fall asleep, I would actually brain dump. So before, part of your wind down routine could be that you grab a notepad and you sit and you write everything that's in your head, or you write down how your day was, or you just get anything out onto that bit of paper, close it, go into bed, or if you're in bed already, close it, put it away, lie down. If you get these things out of your head, there is stats to say that you will have a better quality of sleep because you're not like this, all right? The other thing that research has now shown as well is morning light is super important. If you can get 10 minutes of morning light within the first 30 minutes of waking up, then that's going to help your circadian rhythm, which in turn will improve your sleep and the quality of your sleep. Now, it's all right for me because I have Lexi, so I get up and I'll take her out, and yeah, we're out for kind of 10 to 20 minutes first thing in the morning. If I didn't do that, and if you don't want to step outside if the weather is terrible, then what I would actually do is just open your curtains, open your blinds and let the daylight in, maybe sit by a window, have your coffee outside if you've got a nice garden and it's a nice temperature outside depending on where you live. Avoid long naps. I'm going to come on and talk a little bit more about naps, right? But you want to avoid long naps, which I'll come on and talk about in a bit. If you're still struggling with sleep, then you can try relaxation techniques. So you've got, you can look on YouTube nowadays, Spotify, you've got like Yoga Nidra for sleep, you've got PMR, progressive muscle relaxation techniques that you can learn and do in your bed. There's plenty of relaxation techniques out there. I think that covers how to improve your sleep. Okay, so folk who have children, so those of you that are mothers, dog mums, carers, shift workers, etc., obviously getting 7 to 9 hours sleep a night might not be feasible for you, right? But you still need to prioritise your sleep. It still needs to be your number one in order to live a happier, healthier, stronger life, all right? The thing that I would suggest is that you go to bed earlier. So let's say you've got a kid in your bed, your child goes to bed at 7:30. Usually you stay up and you catch up with things, you don't get to bed till 11. Even bring that forward to like 10, all right? If you know that you're going to wake up during the night for whatever reason, bring your sleep time forward and don't wait until later because it's not bedtime. If your kid or your pup or the person you're caring for is in bed really early, just go to bed after them, all right? Now, naps, what you want to do is you want to take a 10 to 20 minute nap during the day. So remember I said avoid long naps. So long naps would be classified as like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, right? They can leave you feeling worse, they can leave you feeling more groggy. However, with that said, if you can get a full 90-minute nap, you will get a full sleep cycle. So that can actually really improve your day, but improve how you feel, improve how you think, improve your clarity, your focus, your vision. I personally can't sleep for 90 minutes a day. I think it's too long, but some people, especially like shift workers, maybe you've got an option to sleep during the day or later in the evening, and that might work for you. If you are a parent or a carer or whatever, try and think about working in split shifts. So I'm going to use the parent as an example. maybe you get up every night because you're the mother and that's like assumed that you will do that. Maybe your husband or your partner should start taking some of that as well. So maybe if you're off work just now, you do the days he's working, and then the days he's off he takes over and allows you to get a bit of a sleep. Or you can split the shift, so you get up for the first feed, he gets up for the second, and vice versa. The thing that I really just kind of want to finish up on is not using your phone, right? So what happens is people wake up during the night, their phone is under their pillow, their phone is like within reaching distance. They wake up and they start, check the time, then they start scrolling on their phone. Right now, doing that during the night and looking at your screen and scrolling on your phone actually wakes up your brain, and then it reduces and delays melatonin production, which in turn makes your sleep worse. So like if you go back to sleep, if you manage to fall asleep, the quality of that sleep will be very poor. This is why I think this kitchen safe is really good, and if anybody wants it, I can link it below in the comments, just let me know. But you put it in there, you don't get to see your phone in the morning, so you don't, I would suggest, I'd never tell anybody not to look at a screen or not to use a phone, but I would suggest at least an hour before you go to sleep and an hour after you wake up not to use any screens. That would be the biggest thing that I'd probably suggest. Alright, we're nearly there, so let's recap. So the best things to improve your sleep are having a consistent sleep schedule, short naps during the day, no caffeine 8 hours before, and managing your stress a little bit better. And obviously remembering it's 7 to 9 hours, not 7 to 9, 7 to 9 hours sleep a night that you'd be aiming for. Now, I would absolutely love to hear your sleep struggles, and I would love to hear if you get any wins out of this podcast, or if you're going to take anything away and implement it. So all you need to do is either message me here in the comments, or you can tag me in social media at The Lifestyle Coach, or you can just drop me a wee DM if you don't want it to be public. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you guys next week.